よし、それではメインストーリーの女神は異邦人を今回進めていきましょうか。美術館に行くところですが、旧市街地区のバザー街道とヘルメスアベニューの交差点。バザー街道、バザー街道とヘルメス、バザー街道、ヘルメス。これバザー街道、あ、ここか。ここかな？なんだこれ。ああ、いたいた。すごい怪しいんだけどね。何この描写。
Oh, how kind. Though now, of course, I realize it is because of my game, not the works on display.
It needn't be one or the other.
この描写何よ。
Mr. Vogel, but I shall admit that you planted in me the seed of curiosity.
Ah, terrific. I had no doubt you'd put the pieces together. Let us call it an opening gambit before the real game begins.
So, this little game of yours, what's it about?
An enigma to solve. A locked area in the basement with no windows found brutally vandalized. I have no clue how it was possible.
And this locked area downstairs, what exactly was it?
The under gallery. It's always shut, and I'm the only one with the key.
Ah, so this is your private collection, not part of the gallery.
Oh, no. It's an exclusive exhibition of eccentric pieces. Only a select cadre of artists, investors, and collectors are admitted. Not everyone deserves to have their eyes opened.
What about this intrusion? What happened?
Last night, I was about to leave the gallery when I heard a noise downstairs. I went to the basement, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was admittedly a rudimentary inspection. It is not uncommon to see rats down there, so seeing nothing of note, I left and locked up the building. When I returned this morning, alas, I discovered that part of the exhibition had been torched, and there was no sign of the intruder. The mystery being, of course, that all the doors to the gallery were locked exactly as I left them.
And the door to the basement is the only entrance?
Correct. Tell me you're not intrigued.
Well, this matter is certainly within my wheelhouse.
This intrusion troubles me. Please take a look around if you're willing. The under gallery is through the door at the end.
I will see what I see.
なるほど。突き当たりってどこよ？こっちかな？
You sure you don't like art, Sherry?
ああ、ダメ。YouTube 的に、いいのかな？絵画はいいのかな？どうなんでしょうね。ここだな、地下。
Back home, we've got a taxidermist. He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him.
どれのこと言ってんの？ん？あ、これか。何？サメ？すげえな。73センチ。60センチ。あ、歩幅ね。なるほど。足を引きずっている。
Old and hasn't been used for a long time.
はいはい。
Closed with a metal bolt.
吸った後、磁石のクズ、新しい。
Footprints. Size 9.5.
ああ。もしかしてこの中から、なんだろうこれ。煙突とかで繋がってんのか。 こから入ってきたとかじゃないね。こんな感じがす
A
る。
true artist never shows an unfinished piece.
Sherry, how about some company in that dreary chamber of yours?
Leave my loneliness unbroken, John.
わずかに動かされた。
A handprint of the thing from another world. But it looks fresh, and its coal origin ruins the effect of the extra mundane.
ああ、犯人がつけたのかな。
Sodden and mold-ridden. One presumes deliberately.
美術関係は全く分かんないですね、私は。価値とかが。オスカー・ワイルドの部屋。楽屋から。
Sheer vandalism. Only an ignorant person could do such a thing.
タバコ。
A Malpal butt.
マルパル。
Coal fingerprints. I think we're looking for a man with a coal moustache.
なるほど。ああ、はあはあはあはあ。ほうほう、そうやって書けるんだね、ここは。あ、再現来たね。ちょっと待って、これ見てなくね。
The parasites of creativity. Or just a reflection of the artist's recreational interests. Saturn devouring his sun. Grim composition.
恐ろしい。
Unflinching in its ferocity, yet somehow beautiful.
さあ、再現だ。まあ、その可能性あるよね。中に入ってた。あ、そうかな。こうかな。え、そんな自分でわざとってこと？あ、そういうこと？こうかな。で、これは、 こういうことかな。こういうことでいいんでしょうか。
You're not even
違
trying.
うね。
Concentrate.
あ、これはあれだ。これあれか。こうか。そうだ
The
ね。
intruder entered the basement through the coal
あ、やっ
chute.
ぱそうだね。
He used a magnet to open the hatch bolt. He accidentally pushed a shovel to the floor. Vogel heard the noise. At the sound of his
ああ、
approaching
なるほど、なる
footsteps,
ほど。
the intruder hid inside the coffin. When Vogel entered the basement, he failed to notice anything strange and left without properly checking. The intruder waited until Vogel had left the caravanserai before burning the paintings in Wilde's room. But the vandalism was a cover for the theft.
え、
The pieces are not what I expected.
What do you think my collection is about?
なんだろう。全然わかんないですね、本当に。
Extravagant paintings have been left to rot in a basement. A commentary on decay and the crumbling of society, correct?
I don't know.
Well, that's absurd. Of course you know. It's your gallery.
There is no one answer, no singular truth, but many filtered through the subjective mind. That forgetting, embellishing, lying machine. Besides, what's wrong with a lie if it makes life more interesting?
What's wrong with a lie? It corrupts the ability of others to behave freely and rationally.
Men never act freely and rationally anyway. It matters not what is or isn't in the end. The only important thing is how you feel. And I simply want to feel and consume as much as I can.
難しいこと話してるな、なんか。
Feelings are simply one's animal ancestry trying to wrest back control of the brain. I try to avoid the distraction.
You try not to feel, even in a place like this? None of it moves you?
To be frank, I struggle to maintain even a whit of interest in art.
But Mr. Holmes, it is joy incarnate, mankind's greatest achievement.
Mankind's highest achievement above all others is objective and rational thought.
I see then why you dislike art, for it means whatever you want it to.
Or perhaps, Mr. Vogel, I was lying.
Uh-huh.
まあ、簡単でしたね、結構
Mr.
ね。
Vogel, I have confirmed that the intruder was an average-sized, flexible Malpal smoker with a limp. As it happens, the vandalism was a cover. The true intent was to steal a painting without your knowledge. The fact is, one of the pieces from the Wild Room is not in the wreckage.
What? That is extraordinary.
This thief was familiar with the gallery and he was sporting a limp. Do any of your clients or artists come to mind?
My. Your attention to detail is remarkable, Mr. Holmes. I should introduce you to
思い当たる
Bush's
人がいない。
Alas, I'm afraid I cannot suggest a culprit.
The fire was a clever attempt to hide a stolen painting, even if it didn't fool me. I found the remnants of an empty frame in the pile of ashes. The canvas had been removed. Do you know which paintings in the Wild Room may have interested a thief? Were any particularly expensive?
Those pieces belong to a well-known artist named Boniface Mercurio. They're controversial, but not of a notably high value.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the latch and dislodged the shovel while doing so. That's the noise you heard yesterday. When you went downstairs to investigate, he hid in the coffin.
It seems I should have checked the space more thoroughly.
There's something more, is there not? I can see it in your eyes.
Indeed. There is another intriguing angle. I recently received an anonymous offer
Um.
for Mercurio's works. The sum was more than fair, and indeed could have saved Mercurio from his artistic poverty. But he declined it.
Was it a performative whim? Some artists lionize pain and hardship as if their work would be worse after a meal and a hot bath.
I cannot tell. But not only did he refuse the deal, he insisted on displaying the painting in the public space. I was hoping to change his mind, but artists are a special breed of stubborn.
So where can I find Boniface Mercurio?
I know he lives somewhere in Old City, but couldn't be more specific. He's a prominent figure, so finding him shouldn't be a problem.
What was depicted in the piece?
A bound woman wrapped in robes,
おいおいおい。
penetrated by a red devil that stared at us, the viewer. The beast had numerous tails growing from his back, and a large crowd gathered around the pair, silently watching the orgiastic scene.
Okay, well, given the nature of the other works on display, it's hard to see why that one stood out. What could possibly be its value?
The evaluation of art is very subjective, Mr. Holmes. After all, art is everything. A poem, a bruise, the beads of sweat on your beloved skin, even a masterfully solved crime.
I'm not sure I see the connection.
Regardless, the painting was one of a series called The Sabbath Night in Cordona. The works depict sex, violence, and other controversial acts that life, for better or worse, contains.
Ah, I see.
I'm not sure that you do, but that can wait for another time.
Well, I believe I have enough to begin. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. Your gallery certainly has unexpected depths.
I'm delighted to have been able to please a friend. In return, I expect you to come back with good news. Or at least with a good story.
よし。じゃあとりあえず、まずそっか。住所を調べる。市役所でいいのかな。あれここじゃねえな。市役所じゃねえわ。
Mr. Holmes, I have something for you.
なんでしょう。
Mr. Holmes, I see what you're up to. Mysterious stranger pursues betrothed woman. But please,
何
let's keep things professional. I have in my possession an envelope containing details of a special assignment for you. Tell me, are you interested?
I believe I am, but to be very clear, Miss Sertle, my interest extends to the message and not the messenger.
So he claims he's not a gal sneaker, seducing women everywhere he goes. Perhaps the truth is even more scandalous?
Please spare me the speculation and return to the matter at hand.
A gang of smugglers, the Eels, have Cordona
Unagi.
in their clammy grip. The British Empire can abide it no longer. Mycroft insists they be disbanded. But this organization only falls with the capture of their odious leader, Friedrich Panzer. And note well, I did say capture, not kill. Inside your envelope is a map marked with the Eels' warehouses. But alas, we do not know in which Friedrich Panzer resides.
So even Mycroft has his limits.
Indeed. You must be sure to identify the correct
なるほどね。
before entering. Because once one is compromised, indeed. You must, here are all the files, and feel free to use the archive too. Again, do not enter the wrong location, nor see any harm done to Friedrich Panzer.
Miss Sertle, if you're quite done with the redundant instructions, I shall get to work.
Well, that's perfect. Tortured hero lashes out after rejected romance. Tomorrow's edition will be a sensation.
事件が来ましたね。これはちょっと後でやろうかな。ここだ。時代はわからんな。これは画家だから著名人かな。新聞の欄。地区旧市街。来た。こんな見た目してんだ。 出たぞ、住所が。旧市街地区、スカーレット通りとオリーブ通りの間。この辺だよね。この辺だと思うが。来た。
Excuse me, young man. Where do you
Huh?
think you're going?
Greetings, ma'am. I'm looking for the.
I don't care who you're looking for. You shall not pass. No visitors allowed.
I wish to buy a painting from Mr. Boniface Mercurio. Is it?
Dearie, tell me because old age has made me blind. Did someone write Information Bureau on my forehead? Because I'm not here to answer your questions. Entry is for residents only. If you aren't a resident, please leave, or I shall report you to the police.
入れてくれない。ああ、これ変装かな？変装だね。ちょっと待って、家の人？住人じゃないとって言ってたよね。どれだろう？あ、これだ。部外者は立ち入り禁止だと言われた。僕には自由奔放な彼のような日焼けとだらしなさが足りない。日焼けとだらしなさ。これだ。写真でこれっぽいからこれ着てみようか。
A good choice. A good choice indeed.
ど
Oriental rugs.
う？ね、そっくりだよ、これ。そっくりな服だよ、これ。これでいけんじゃないこれ。どう？
No visitors allowed.
あ、これもダメ？あ、これでもまだダメ。あ、これ、絶対これじゃん。ひげは？これいる？あ、これだ。芸術家の武将ひげ。わかりやすい。こういうところはわかりやすい、このゲーム。
A good choice.
これでいいっしょ。
A good choice indeed.
これでいけるっしょ、さすがに。どう？
Boniface, sweetie. Is that you? Ah, old age does terrible things to one's sight. I didn't recognize you at first.
How are you, ma'am? I'm ashamed to admit that I've lost.
確かに結構似てるな。
For heaven's sake, how many times will you lose that key of yours? Of course I have a spare. You artists all live in your own little world.
Please accept my thanks.
本
I
人
would
いなくてよか
rather
ったね。
accept your rent. You promised to pay me several weeks ago and I'm still waiting.
I will pay you, I promise, very soon.
You'd better do, my dear. Or else I'll just change the lock. And I won't fall for those cow eyes.
やばいやばい。似すぎてて代わりに家賃まで払わされそうになってる。どこ？ここ？どこ？こっち？わ。あれ？死んでるなんて情報あったっけ？そんなだったっけ？
I've heard of this style of painting. It is called expressionism.
Judging by post-mortem rigidity, the body lay here for 1 or 2 days.
1日から2日。拳の怪我。
Soaked in blood. It seems as if the puddle of blood was here before the rags.
死んだ後にこの布がここに落ちたってこと？
The wound is precise. It was inflicted by a razor or a knife.
首だね。ナイフ。凶器
A
か。
normal kitchen knife. Could be the murder weapon.
おお。
Red skin, tails on the back.
ああ、これ
Reminds
か
me。of Werder's description of the stolen painting.
ちょっとセクシーな絵ですね。
The chest has been searched. Aunt May whiskey, brandy bucks. Quite a collection he had here.
ナイフがない。ご飯用のナイフってことで。これ何これ。
It appears the wine was truly awful. I wonder where he got that fancy camera.
ああ、カメラだって。当時のカメラ。あとは
Despite the overall tendency towards mess, you cannot sit with the drawer pulled out like this.
ああ、
Someone
なるほ
left
ど。
it after searching.
あとは
The photograph was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material.
おお。あ、この狭い空間でもやる。あれ。じゃあまず。何してるこれ。あ、拭いてんの。蹴ってる。まあこっちだろうね。布が後から落ちてたって言ったから。ああ、で犯人が物色して、でここも犯人が物色してでしょ。ああ、そういうこともある。そういうこともあるか。物色されてるのを見つけて殴った。だけど逆にやられたみたいな。それはないだろ、さすがに。こういうことかな多分。
Mercurio was developing
そう
photographs
だ
when the
ね。
intruder snuck in. Mercurio heard him coming.
はいはい
While
はい
the
はい。
thief was searching the chest, the painter ran towards him with a bottle in his hand. He smashed it across the thief's head. The intruder had no choice but to defend himself, and the weapon of opportunity happened to be a kitchen knife. Mercurio stepped aside to grab the painting, but the wine-blinded thief attacked Mercurio's throat. When the thief came to his senses, he saw Mercurio bleeding on
あ
the
あ、
floor.
殺す気はなかったんだ
He
じゃ
grabbed
あ。
rags and tried to bandage him, but it was too late. Why did Mercurio attempt to snatch the painting in the middle of a fight? To strike the intruder? Not with his painting, it was too important.
特別な絵ってことか。記憶の宮殿の手がかりが来てるね。
It's time for some chemical
あ、
magic.
見た。科学。あれだ。また来たぞ。科学分析。プラスマイナス変えるやつと増減のやつか。わかった。これは出しとこうぜ。なんだかんだこれ使うから。マイナス4か。これでマイナス4簡単に作らせてくれんかな。マイナス2。 5か。あ、ちょっと待てよ。マイナス2。で、反転して、で、3を作りたいんだけど、2マイナス2でしょ。で、増減をうまく使ってさ、マイナス2、マイナス2。あ、これで3、1、マイナス4。わかりましたね。わかったぞ。これいらない。これ出して、マイナス2つつけて、これもいらんな。で、あ、いるわ。これがいる。これ出して、こうでしょう。あ、違う、これじゃない。これじゃない。これ出して、こう。で、こうして、こう。で、こう。慣れてきたかもしれない。マーキュリオの部屋の生物が。これなんだ？何のマークこれ？証拠の使い道。
That doesn't look like the painting we need, Sherry.
As expected, but that doesn't mean it won't tell us anything. Let's put it on the easel where it belongs.
ああ、そういうことね。
I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the two differences, John?
ああ、なるほど。間違い探し的な。
I guess this is his
ちょ
most
っと。
ordinary
はい
painting.
はいはいはい。
Spot the two differences, John?
ここにあれがない。
If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here.
で、何？頭蓋骨を探せってことですか？頭蓋骨。あった。
Monster was actually a man. Poor girl. John, you ought to be thrilled. We are now hunting the devil himself.
何どういうこと？
What were you saying, Sherry? I was too busy sketching the scene, you know, crimes and such like, daily routine. Did you find something?
A photograph. It depicts a man in a red suit with tails sprouting from his back and multiple people in masks watching the scene. It all adds up. But the act of love, it wasn't given willingly, John.
ああ。
It was a violation. And the girl, she was with child.
Give that to me now. Did you recognize someone?
No. Although the victim is not from Cordona, she is African. Look at the ritual scars on her face.
Get that image out of your brain. You have to continue the investigation.
I must speak to the landlady. Perhaps she saw or heard something.
Sherry, you cannot tell her the truth about Mercurio. It will hurt her.
John, that's illogical. Sooner or later, she will come here and discover a corpse, and I still need to talk to her.
Just avoid mentioning corpse. All right? Stick to the character. Tell her to call the police.
I'll take that into account.
And wait here. I've redrawn the people in the photograph. Now you can proceed with your
なるほど。
investigation without those.
その写真は見せないようにしてくれるんだね。これはこっちとしてもありがたいです。なるほど。死んだことを伝えずに話を聞けと。
What's wrong, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Can you tell me if anyone else has recently entered the flat?
Oh, you're talking
あ、
about that
出た。
little
足を引きずった男。
I'm sorry I let him in. I was scared. And I thought maybe he would motivate you to find money so that you would pay your rent.
こいつがやったのか？
Can you describe him?
Oh, so you weren't at home. I was so certain you didn't leave your flat that day. He was of average height, had a
首に入れ
tattoo
墨。
on his neck, and he was smoking Malpal cigarettes. My husband used to smoke those. They have a horrible smell I can recognize from a mile away.
部屋に警察を呼んでくれて理由聞かれるでしょ。
Can I ask a favor?
Of course, dearie.
Please call the police and ask them to enter the flat. And don't look inside until they come up.
What? What trouble have you stepped in this time?
It really doesn't matter. Thank you, Mum.
オッケー。もういいかな、ここは。
Phew, Sherry, that was close. But you did everything correctly. Now, take off your outfit. I can't let you walk around
服を脱
in
げ
dead
て。
man's clothes.
オッケー。勝手に脱がされた。ヒゲは残ってるが。ヒゲもいらんちゅうに。長袖の方でいこうかな。ずっと半袖。てか、ジャケット脱いでたから。よし。次どこ？どこだ次？誰に聞く話を。誰だろう。とりあえず画家じゃねえ。美術のとこに戻る。戻ってみるか。なんか知ってるかな。
I think I'll leave the
あ、
exhibition
ダメ
in
だ。
its current state for a while. I'll call it The Art of Vandalism.
ダメだ。全然ダメだ。あ、ちょっと待って。記憶の宮殿行ってみるか。手形と足跡を防御の見つかりになった石炭活に。はい。そうだね。同一人物です。うん、殺害ではない。たまたま殺してしまった。はいはいはいはい。わからん、これだけじゃ。この写真を探しに来た。そうだな。行き詰まったね。アフリカ系の人みたいな、なんかそういう感じの人がいれば。こういう感じの人が知ってたりする。
Are you able to help me?
I would help you if I knew, sir.
おめえ何やってんだよ。
I'm curious, how did Mycroft recruit you? I doubt you're a
い
field
や、
agent.
違う話だ。
You work with intelligence.
That's correct. Your brother noticed me when I tracked down a spy at the archives. That's how our cooperation began. And you? Did Mycroft force you into this?
Not at all. We simply have a mutual interest in someone. Or something.
Of course. A fruitful and willing collaboration, I'm sure.
Well, I'm his younger brother. I have to accept the consequences of being a close relative of an official figure.
I suppose, in a way, we are colleagues, Mr. Holmes.
In the remotest way possible, Miss Oni.
Have you found anything helpful?
Who are you asking? About what and dressed as what?
服装って言ってるね。 なんか部族の服とかでもあんのか。あ、
The finest clothes for the finest citizen.
部族的な傷。
Perfect choice.
Do you know anything about this?
Yes, of
あ、何
course.
マジ
Let me tell you what I know.
来た。これどういう人だったのこれ。エチオピア人。エチオピア人のメイドさんに聞いたら、行きましたね。この服装も関係あったのかなもしかして。この下の方とか。なになになになに何かあったみたいだ。
They're completely livid.
First they come to our land, then they murder our people.
Drop them all into the sea.
Where do you think you're going? Speak with the chief.
ここの責任者誰よ。
Sir, this place is off limits to the public. Please state your business or leave, or I shall request that the police escort you out.
正直に。
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for a witness for a case.
A private investigator? Really? Even so, you're not authorized. I can't let you in.
And you are?
I'm Ronald Harlow, here to handle the refugee situation on behalf of City Hall. I'm the acting supervisor here, so I have full authority here to ask you to leave, or I shall order the police to detain you for trying to pass the blockade. Please, step back.
はい。若いんだ。役人らしく見せようとしている。精神的な重圧？何何何何？うーん。ね。これだ。
What about the murder that this crowd keeps shouting about?
It's mere assumption. I assure you that the situation is under the police's control.
I know you want to deal with this in the right way. You are obviously a professional and a responsible person, but you clearly have never handled a situation like this before.
I am handling it, Mr. Holmes. Don't question my capability here.
And tell me how you do it. You can't even calm this gathered crowd, and as for the police, they're not quite managing it either, are they? You consider yourself a problem solver, but until today, you've been solving problems sitting at your desk in a dark corner of a city hall room. Here, you need a more practical approach.
What are you driving at, Mr. Holmes?
火を貸そう。
I can help you to handle the situation if you're truly interested in solving things quickly and quietly.
And how exactly would you manage that?
Simply tell the police that I'm with City Hall and I'm permitted to investigate the scene. I'll work out the rest, but in return, I need your help finding my witness. She's a young refugee. She's with child or was with child recently.
Look, there is indeed a dead body inside the camp. So even if the girl you are looking for is there, all the refugees are now being detained and interrogated by the police. They won't allow you to speak with her. and I can't do anything about that until the situation settles down.
So it's in our mutual interest to settle it.
Oh. I suppose that things are bad enough that I ought not shy away from help. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell the police to allow you to come inside. Just tell me when you're ready.
Mr.
Joke
Harlow,
to
how
ka.
did refugees end up here exactly?
Oh. So you're not from around here yourself?
I've been away for some time, but I read the papers.
Yes. This whole story has been in the papers for almost a year now. They were smuggled to Cordona on a ship from Africa.
Smuggled? Then why didn't you deport them?
The smugglers managed to sneak them to shore and hide them inside an abandoned warehouse. When the police raided the warehouse and found the refugees there, the ship was already gone. We aren't even certain as to which ship it was. We have busy shipping routes with other colonies these days, you see.
So you decided to lock them up under a bridge?
There was no other option. We're still trying to work out what to do with them. We hope we'll find a humane solution and not put them on a raft and float them out to sea.
Mr. Harlow, what exactly do you do here? What are your responsibilities?
What I do and what I am responsible for are two different realities, Mr. Holmes. On paper, I am in charge of the camp territory, security, provision, and the refugees in general. What I actually do most of the time is knock on every city hall door trying to obtain some funding, or at least rations for the camp.
はあ、苦労してんな、この人。
They are, minus those who came here after the body was found. The governor won't let the refugees disperse into the island, so there's a significant police presence guarding the camp. Naturally, they answer directly to the police. I have some influence here, but I'm not their direct authority.
OK。
I'm ready to take a look at the scene.
All right. Go inside the camp and find Inspector Tewkesbury. He's the officer investigating the scene. Tell him I sent you. Say you're an independent expert from City Hall. He'll fill in the details for you.
I'll find my way with words. Thank
い
you.
つもこのパターンだよね。自分の知りたいことがあるときは、事件解決してからにしろみたいなね。
Who isn't allowed to visit the crime scene these days?
So they keep these refugees under a bridge like proverbial trolls. No wonder the people outside are so disturbed.
Who the hell are you? How did you get in here?
Mr. Ronald Harlow let me in, sir. I'm Sherlock Holmes, a surveyor of refugee affairs with City Hall. You're Inspector Tewkesbury, I presume?
A surveyor? What does that even mean?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the Colonial Office and to assess all the damage inflicted on state property.
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food for archive mold. Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems before you appeared.
Could you first tell me
さ
what...
すがに嘘がうまいな、ホームズ。
People from the bridge above the camp heard a woman screaming and saw a mass of refugees attacking a man. Clearly not a refugee. When the camp guards came by, the man was floating in a sewage canal with a knife in his chest. Bam. A murder. Big news for Cordona.
I'm sure. Thank you, Inspector. And none of the refugees were harmed?
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there near their kitchen. He's in a bad way.
You mentioned a woman screaming who attracted the bypassers on the bridge. Was she harmed?
No, she's all right, but perhaps the whole debacle started because of her. She started wailing and the refugees stood up for the girl.
And where is this young woman now?
Back there in the shacks, same as the rest of the refugees. She's been questioned by my men, but she's just some refugee.
言葉が通じない。
Doesn't understand much English.
Did you learn anything about the dead man?
The fellow looks like a thug. I've had dozens like him fished out of the sea over the past 20 years. Ever since these refugees arrived, there have been people on Cordona with bad blood in them. My best bet is that this thug had something against them too.
And no clue as to his identity?
He had some items on his body, but nothing to indicate who he was or where he was from.
I think I should catalogue his possessions in my records.
Go on. They're on the table near the body.
Do you have any suspects yet?
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it coming.
なんてこと言うんだよ。
And forget about the whole thing. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superiors say we must thoroughly interrogate the refugees. At least those who can understand any English.
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of the refugees?
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now, they're looking
この
to
時代で
protect
も
their public image.
世
That's
間の
why I
声
have
と
to
か
waste
気になるん
my
だね。
time waiting for my people to turn every stone and befriend every refugee.
よし。9番まである。
Number of hours on Cordona before stumbling upon another dead body? 0.
1番、1番。これが1番。
Coal dust under the nails. I don't see much coal around here.
うん。
A steel dirk, sharp. A common accessory among sailors and soldiers.
ほうほう。
I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however, the wound is too messy to be certain. An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something?
ん？あとどこだどこだあれ
Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other.
こいつあれじゃん。
This man was limping.
盗んでってやつでしょ。
A violent death. But this man, limping.
絶対そうだよ。
Coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John.
絶対そうだよこれ。盗んだ人だよ。
A simple leather sheath. Perfect for a dirk. Malpal, soaked with salt water. £1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British currency isn't very common in Cordona.
このタバコもこの死んだやつのだろきっと。
Someone bled profusely here. A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently.
覚えてらんねえよこんなの。9番まで行った時にはもう最初の2番とか3番とか忘れてるよ俺。4番。
A furrow in the ground. A blood trail leading to or from the canal.
ああ、刺されてその場で死なずに自分で落ちちゃった感じかな。
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment.
うーん。
The blood sprayed off the blade after the strike.
これはなんだ。
No hint of blood or impact. It might have been used as an improvised weapon.
ああ。切られてとっさにこれで殴り返そうとしたのか、殴ろうとしたところを切られたのか。
Someone was dragged against their will.
自分の意思に反して引きずられた。8番、8番どこ ?8 番。あれ ?8 番。8番。
Police boots. Always happy to trample evidence. A heavy boot with a worn-out sole. A man's footprint.
うーん。
clearly a left handprint here.
あとは、話を聞く感じか？あ、調べれる。
He is in shock, feverish, and dehydrated. The cut is deep, potentially serious if not treated
じゃあ
immediately.
こんなとこに置いとくない。
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
傷口を洗うためのもの、感染を防ぐためのもの、包帯として使えるもの。おそらく清
Better
潔。
than nothing to bandage the wound.
あとは、水。どうしたお湯？あ、なるほど。
I'll use it to create a solution.
あ、で、これも取って。あ、あったあったあった。あれかな。
I can use this to stop
あ、
the
これでいいん
infection
だ。
from spreading.
化学分析。おいおい、出たぞ、新しいのがまた。くっそ。試薬値を2倍にする。マイナス6か。とりあえず。これ使えそうじゃね？ 2 倍とか早速使っちゃってさ。あ、もうなんかいける気がする。俺いける気がする。あ、ダメか。いける。ちょっと待って。こう、こう、こう、こう。待ってよ。はい、来た。
Thank you.
This should make you feel better, my friend. Now remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
素晴らしい。犯人が焼い時に侵入した方法を突き止める。あとなんだろう。あ、なんかあるじゃん、あそこ。
No, it's too short for these walls or cliffs.
おお。ありえないのかい。
It's unlikely anyone could get in or out of the camp by water without alerting the police
ああ、
guards.
そういうもんなのね。
If they find out about the passage,
おっとなんか抜け道どうのこうの言ってんぞ、こいつら。金だ。こうだ。
nobody will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
The coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps we should sniff around.
Sealed
the camp
shut.
a little more
I doubt
thoroughly.
our man could get through these grates.
あ、こうじゃないのかい。
You still here?
うーんと、
This, son.
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If those fine gentlemen you've eavesdropped on are in some shady business, that's on their heads.
なるほど。
City Hall Lubberhead.
そう、わかんねえ。とりあえずじゃあこっち進めるか。
A single Malpalbutt.
出た。
Roadman cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers. So there wasn't any sophisticated infiltration plan. The good
そう
old
だよ
police
ね。
just let the man
普通に入
into
れたんだよね、じゃあ。
Now we have everything we need to get the full picture of what happened at the camp.
待って。まあいいや、とりあえずこの再現やるか。触ったの左手って言ったよね。自分で歩いていったんだよ、これは。そうそう。こうで。ここで刺されたんだっけ？あ、なんかぶつけたって言ったな。こうかな？こうかな？あ、でも違うな。逃げて、こう。あ、そういうことか。で、刺さっちゃったんだ。刺さっちゃったんだね。刺されたっていうか。飛び散ってるから、こうで。何が変わった？違う、守ろうとしてるんじゃない？連れてこうとしてる、多分そういうこと。で、無理やりここ連れてかれようとして、こうじゃないですか？オッケ
So
ー。
we have a thug who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force. One of the refugees stood in his way, armed with a stick, yet he could do nothing against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled. He was stopped by the falling crates. He stumbled and fell, piercing his chest with his own blade. However, the wound didn't cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell. Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. In our man's case, it's the same sword.
事件解明。
You still here?
Inspector, I believe I can aid your investigation. I know who the dead man is and what really happened.
You do? Well, good for you. But I'm afraid I'm not the one you need to share your findings with. Speak to Mr. Harlow here. He's the one responsible for settling things in the camp.
You don't even care to listen?
Oh, I do care. And maybe even more than I need to. But I'm only here today to lock the place up, question witnesses, and file the facts. It's sad, but coming up with conclusions is not among my tasks here.
警察も知っといた方がいいんじゃないそれは。
Anyway, speak to the supervisor. I'll just stand by and listen to what you have to say.
はい、わかりました。
Mr. Harlow, your refugees didn't murder anyone.
What? Pray tell me what you've learned.
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for you, but will create a few more.
Oh, well, that's a great start.
The man came to the camp intending to kidnap one of your refugees, a woman. What he didn't expect was that the refugees would stand up to protect the woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man stumbled over those crates and fell on his own blade.
How do you know he fell on his own blade?
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offensive stab, shall we say. The refugees didn't touch him. And judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately fell into the canal.
But how did he sneak into the camp? Why didn't the police see him?
And this is where your new problems emerge, Mr. Harlow.
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is no feasible way to get into the camp without the police guards knowing of it.
The pile of mess I had to sort out has just become bigger, but somehow that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, I thank you for your help, Mr. Holmes. I'll take it from here.
なんで入れることにしたんだろう
I'll
ね
make。sure the police aren't detaining the refugees any longer.
お金でももらっ
Go
たと
back
か。
in and look for your witness.
You think one small clock can make any difference in this place?
Who knows, John? Just one ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble.
よし。で、こっちよ。
Excuse me, just one question.
They often take us from the camps to work. Most don't mind, though. It's the only way we get a glimpse of freedom.
ああ、そうなんだ。仕事のために連れ出す。ああ、お金がもらえるからね。ああ。
So there's a smuggling ring in the camp. This wasn't the first time that someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
At least it was
なるほど。
last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the thug came from.
そうだね。
Do you know anything
You're the one
あ、
who
いた。
tended to our man's wounds. I thank you greatly. The police didn't allow us to help him.
The police will leave you alone now. I've proven to them that the man who came into the camp died due to his own foolishness.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody would help us.
そうなんですよ。
Listen, you're here because you want something.
Yes, I do. I need to speak with the girl drawn here.
The dead man came for her too. He wanted to take the girl away, but we won't allow her to be hurt again. What do you want from Nayla?
ネイラ。
Nayla. She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to find the people who did this and bring them to justice. And to find them, I need Nayla's help. Will you let me speak to her?
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But you helped us, so maybe your words are not empty. You can speak to Nayla if she wants it. But I will be watching you.
ついにご対面です。
Hello, Nayla? My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please. There is a photograph, and I'm sorry, it is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people? Christ, Sherlock. Nayla, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
You come here for me, but you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had
十字の印。
Now go away. Leave us be. I do not need another white man's
そんなこと言うなよ。
Oh, glad that wasn't me.
Not my best work, John, by a long shot. Naylor doesn't want us meddling. I'm starting to wonder what this all achieves.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
なるほどね。よし。ーっと。うんうんうんうんうんうん。はい。いやー、そうなんだ。政府の高官に与えられる。はいはいはい。これはどこに行けばいいんだろう。市役所？あ、まだなんかあるね。
You still here?
あったわ。
I've already told you all I've learned.
The intruder has a most peculiar tattoo on his neck, 2 lines and a point. Do you know anything about it?
You really want to know, kid? Why? You want to play a policeman or something?
I'm sure you have it in your records, so it won't hurt if I have it in mine.
In my records, it's just a tattoo, as it should be in yours. Ah, to hell with you. Suit yourself as to what you're going to do with it. Off the record, though, such tattoos are often connected to a man named Niccolo Bernadotti.
Bernadotti, you say?
A respectable businessman in Scalario. His company imports goods and wines, and smuggles everything that can be smuggled between the colonies and the mainland. His people can be identified by an obscure tattoo, just like the one over there our friend has. But these are all merely rumors, you see. If Mr. Bernadotti was a criminal, he'd be in prison now. Or hanged, right?
ほう。OK。すべての証拠回収。で、この2つだね。どこだろう？どっちだろう？警察ってことはないよな。市役所とコルドナクロニクルかな？これだ。話題。事業？時代はわかんないな。職業。スカラディオ。よし。ああ、場所が分かったね、これで。あ、これもここか。俺分かんねえな。時代？あ、来た来た来た。トマス・ノートンだって。 市役所に執務室を与えられる？
What a lovely man this Bernard
ここにいるんじゃね？
is, eh, Sherry? Can't wait until we get to meet him.
いたわ。書いてあったっていうか。トマス・ノートンってめちゃめちゃ書いてあったわ。本人に話せってことだったのね。
Signing up for military service, come back tomorrow. Our department needs to straighten out some business.
家を剃る時間がない。シワだらけの服。何ワインか。そんな状態で働く？これだろ。遊び歩いてんだろ。悪いことして。
Didn't you hear what I just said?
On my way here, I was wondering whether you might regret what you did. I tried my best to retain at least a shred of faith in humanity. I had hoped that you would hear her scream, see her face in your dreams, or at least once ask yourself how Naylor might feel.
Who?
Neither of my hopes were fulfilled.
Why are you here?
写真を見せる。
Do you recognize this man?
We definitely
何？
look alike. But you have
冷静だな。
Really? Then you won't mind if I pass this along to the newspaper.
All right. All right.
手紙？
Is this about money, as you said in the letter? What kind of sum are we talking about?
I've never written a single word to you. Bribery, not my style.
So, that letter, it wasn't from you.
Well, it appears that more and more people in the city are finding out about your despicable hobby, doesn't it? You're in the clutches of justice, and very soon they will squeeze you. It's in your best interest to cooperate.
Fine. I suppose now we have a nice long talk. Do you drink, Mr.
酒を飲まずに話せ。
Sherlock Holmes. And I do not.
Shame. All the best discussions are accompanied by a glass of whiskey. But out of
こいつちょっ
respect
とダメだな。
for you, I won't drink either.
Respect? That's an unusual word in your mouth, Mr.
Where are my manners? My name is Thomas Norton, a British envoy in Cordona on a military mission. So, where do we start?
Boniface Mercurio. Does the name mean anything to you?
He's an artist, right?
The one responsible for the painting that compromises you. I found him dead in his room.
Oh, that is bad. Wait, you don't think that I have anything to do with this?
You had motive to kill him.
Maybe I did, but listen. I know how this looks, but murder? That's on another level. I had thoughts that this Mercutio...
Mercurio?
Well, him, yes. I thought he could have been the blackmailer. But I was too afraid to make any hasty decisions. There were plenty of ways to fail by making a move, so I chose to wait. To see what he would do next.
やってはないでしょうね、こいつじゃない。
Believe me.
I don't believe people, I believe evidence.
Then look at the evidence.
The painting that depicted you in the image of the devil was stolen by a mercenary. Did you have anything to do with it?
I might be a rotten person, sir, but hiring criminals for illicit purposes is not in my daily schedule.
And buying the painting in an attempt to hide the crime, is that on your daily schedule?
What would you do in my situation?
I would never put myself in such a situation.
You're young. I could never have imagined myself in my current position. Yet, here I am in front of you. We all make mistakes, Mr. Holmes. And I'm no exception.
So, let's return to the beginning. What happened at the party?
I vaguely remember that night. As usual at such parties, you meet people, you talk with them, they invite you to spend some time alone with them. What can I say? I got myself mixed up with the wrong company, and somebody must have mixed some psychoactive substance in my drink. After that, it's all blurry. I completely lost my sanity. I made a terrible mistake which I regret deeply.
You don't say. Do refugee girls often appear on the menu at those types of parties?
It's rather rare.
So you didn't attend the party to engage in an exotic experience involving a vulnerable woman unable to accuse you of assault?
I would never have planned such a terrible thing. What happened was just bad circumstance.
You mentioned blackmail. Tell me about it.
All right. A couple of days ago, I received an anonymous letter. It said that in the art gallery at Caravansary there exists a painting that incriminates me. The blackmailer made it clear that if there is a painting, then a photograph exists too. And I should be wary of what it might do to my reputation.
What does the blackmailer want from you?
Money, of course. What else do such people want? Needless to say, I don't remember anyone taking photographs at the party. Up until the last moment, I hoped he was bluffing. But he wasn't, as you've just proven to me.
Show me the letter.
I burnt it as soon as I read it. I've left enough evidence. There's no need for any more. Mr. Holmes, I've built my entire career on hard work and uncompromising dedication to the Crown. I made a mistake, but I'm not a villain from some cheap adventure fiction. By putting me behind bars, you will benefit precisely no one.
Rotting in prison is the least you deserve, but I have a better idea. You will make amends and help the ones you hurt.
そうだ。難民たちを助けろ。
Use your connections to help patriate the refugees, find them decent homes, give them jobs. There must be a meaning to your position and my decision.
Yes, all right, I can do that. So, will you give me the photograph now?
That's not all. Naylor deserves the very utmost of what you can do.
Help the girl? I can't risk the press paying extra attention to her. I will do anything except that.
I need to think this all through. Don't do anything foolish in the meantime.
What makes you think you can decide what's best for these people?
Such is the arrogance of British imperialism. I take your point.
で、今度こっちはね。おっと、ごめんよ。今のうちの記憶の宮殿行っとくか。うんうんうん。パーティーで難民の女性を乱暴した。はいはい。その疑問を移したいね。彼を失脚させることができるだろう。うんうんうんうん。うわ、うわ。これは難しいな。ちょっと待ってよ。ちょっと待って。こっちは、こっちどうなってる？あ、これ何？ああ、そういうことか。こっち行こうか、ちょっと。こっち行くとどうなるか。カラデオ地区南東のバザー街道。ローマ街道この辺なんだけどな。あ、ここだ。くそ。
I won't wait for an invitation, John.
Hey, yo. This is private property. You lost something.
これ。
Good day, sir. I've been sent by City Hall to see Mr. Bernadotte about...
Mr. Bernadotte isn't seeing anyone.
嘘
You
でしょ。
have 3 seconds to walk away or you'll never walk again. Capito?
It's in Mr. Bernadotte's best interest to...
One.
Listen, the man Bernadotte sent to...
Two.
ごめんなさい。
Well, this has been miserable.
Sherlock, think. We know what the fellows from the gang look like. You can
あ
easily.
変装する？変装する。変装で行く？どうしようか、じゃあ。ちょっと待って。ちゃんと見てから行こう。 はいはい。あ、これでいいってこと？あ、これ。私仲間でーす。
Hey, stop. Who are you?
こんなバカな。
Didn't see you either, mate. I'm John. Just shipped in from London. Cheap bastards had me sharing a bunk with two others.
Aye, that sounds like Bernadotte. Why are you here?
A problem at the refugee camp. I need to report to Mr. Bernadotte. The sooner the better.
I knew it was only a matter of time until those savages stirred up
やったぜ。
trouble. Go on, get inside.
やったぜ。
You did it, Sherry. A full immersion into the criminal underworld.
で、何をしろと？ベルナドッティがどこにいるか。
Sherry, look. This seems familiar.
本当だ。あったー。この悪魔の絵よ、この。これ大丈夫？これ。大丈夫なやつこれ。映せるやつこれ。
Isn't it curious how it developed into a... I suppose it's Mr. Bernadotte with our fine governor.
Oh.
1875. It's taken a few years back. John, how many people in Cordona have a photograph with the governor, do you think?
You definitely don't have one.
Excuse me, Mr. Bernadotte is busy right now.
はい。
Light, could you step back?
I don't know who you are, but someone will be punished for letting you in.
すごい一瞬でどこも誰とも知らんて。
Let's talk. Whenever you're ready. I'd hate to intrude.
はいはいはい。ペラグラ、ペラグラ？ー、ここは一緒か。気根がどこに影響してくる？自分が生きる世界を憎むようになった。そんなことない。これ、どっちだろうわかんねえな。こっち。
Niccolo Bernadotte, I presume? The name is Sherlock Holmes, and I'm afraid I bring bad tidings.
Is that so?
The man you sent to the refugee camp failed in his task. He impaled himself on his own blade. Clumsy and chaotic.
For a man who just broke onto my property, you are more businessman than brute. You have my attention, Mr. Holmes. Do not waste it.
I was hired, privately, to investigate the recent theft of a painting from an art gallery. My investigation led me to a man from your organization, and thus, to you, Mr. Bernadotte.
That is quite a stretch. Why would I need to steal a painting when I could buy anyone I wanted?
Interestingly enough, I spotted the stolen painting in your storeroom.
I buy and sell a lot of things, Mr. Holmes. Unfortunately, if this is true, it is not the first time I have been sold stolen merchandise. I presume you were hired by the owner of the gallery. Tell them to contact me, and we'll sort out the situation. So, this painting is why you broke into my office.
As I said, your man was found dead in the refugee camp. He was there to kidnap a woman, but the other refugees intervened to try and save her. The ensuing scuffle resulted in the man's accidental suicide. He sported the same tattoo as your men in this building. In fact, it also bears a resemblance to the one on your neck. Care to explain what business your man had with this woman?
You have no idea what you are talking about. I can assure you this was no kidnapping. The refugees in the camp are on edge. What happened there is a tragic accident, one I am not responsible for.
For what reason was your man there if not to abduct her?
Why would I answer? You are yet to justify your presence in the slightest.
怖っ。
Mr. Bernadotti, do you know the name Boniface Mercurio?
I do not.
Mercurio was a local artist. Recently, a man broke into his apartment, ransacked the place, and killed him. The thief was looking for something.
You are testing my patience, boy.
In a moment, the connection will reveal itself.
So many words, so little action. When you barged into my office, Mr. Holmes, I got the impression you wanted to talk business. Now I see you had come just to talk. Tell me exactly what you want, or get out.
It was necessary groundwork for what comes next. I have enough evidence to conclude that the gallery thief, the artist's killer, and the dead man in the camp are all the same person.
Your time is almost up, Mr. Holmes.
Before you draw your gun, there is one final detail I am yet to mention. The young woman your man was tasked to collect from the refugee camp had been defiled at a perverse masquerade party. That violation was captured in a photograph by Boniface Mercurio and used as a reference for his painting. The photo shows the attacker's face.
Finally. That's why you're here, Mr. Holmes. You have the photograph.
It is what your man was after when he broke into Mercurio's apartment, and it is what you're after too, isn't it, Mr. Bernadotti?
You have the photograph with you. How much do you want for it?
金じゃねえんだ
I'm
よ。
not naive enough to carry it with me, but I am yet to decide what I shall do with it. I know the man in the photo is a British envoy. What interest do you have in his downfall?
I must admit, I'm rather impressed by how comprehensively you have pursued this matter. And so, you deserve the honest answer. My business dealings are often arduous in their bureaucracy. A man in his position, willing to look the other way, could ease my work significantly. In return, I will make sure no one looks his way either. A favor.
なるほどね。
A favor.
Also known as blackmail, the modus operandi of any true professional.
It was not originally my idea. Mercurio set things in motion, extorting the envoy for the most trivial of ends. Money. In response, the envoy hired my man to retrieve the painting and the photograph, eliminating Mercurio's leverage. I only learned the whole story after the artist was killed in his home.
And rather than extricate yourself, instead you took over Mercurio's venture.
It fell into my lap. As a businessman, I simply seized the opportunity. Now, how much do you want for the image?
いやいやいやいや。
I could not help but appreciate the collection of smuggled artifacts in your storeroom. You have rather diversified your business.
Oh, high and mighty of you, Mr. Holmes. Not all smuggling is immoral. I pay generous rates to developing cultures and spread their culture to eager buyers. And furthermore, I supply many immigrants with a taste of home.
A very convenient way of thinking.
I have traveled wildly, Mr. Holmes. I've seen people in far-flung lands for whom my services are a lifeline. Without them, they would starve. The tax on cargo is often so absurd that it would be more profitable to simply sink your ship than dock it in the harbor. And trust me, I am speaking from experience.
Why did you send your man to remove the woman from the camp?
Without a photograph, her testimony was the next best thing. Securing her was in everyone's interest. Victims and witnesses all too often disappear. I thought the girl was safer with us. I did not anticipate what would happen at the camp.
Why should I
How much
give
is
you
that?
the photograph?
Just name your price.
What if my price were not money? You claim to have connections, Mr. Bernadotte. Perhaps you could improve conditions for the refugees. Give them a chance for a better life.
Ha! I do have connections, Mr. Holmes, but help the whole camp? You are asking. I could, however, make arrangements for one person. The woman who was violated will have her own home outside the camp, solely for her and her child. She will no longer be a refugee, but a princess. That I can guarantee.
Is that really possible?
It will be neither fast nor easy, but I can do it. She deserves it, don't you agree? And as for her abuser, he will serve me.
まあ、あの男のことはどうでもいいけど。
So, in your plan, everybody will be given their due. Especially you, Mr. Bernadotte.
Seems like a fair deal, no? I doubt anyone could offer you better. Simply give me the photograph, and the world becomes a better place. I give you my word.
どう、ちょっと待って。記憶の宮殿行くか。あー、マジか。ここで決まるんだな。どっちに渡すかが。はいはいはいはい。うわ、むずいな、今回。で、こっちにすると、そうだよね。うわ、どうするマジマジやばい。どうしよう。くっそ。でも女の子だけ助けるってよりかは、個人的には、難民全員を助ける。こっちかな。ここに女の子も、含まれてるわけだからね。これかな。頼むぞ、マジで。本当に難民助けてくれよ。頼むよ、マジで。マジで頼むよ。渡すから。
Have you thought it all through?
Almost. The refugees, what will happen to them?
Well, I wouldn't be standing here in this fancy office if I didn't know how to pull the right strings. In fact, it's the only thing I know. The local governor will receive a decree signed by the House of Lords containing a request to patriate the refugees in the name of the Crown.
From where did you gain such influence?
I never asked you how you found the photograph. So don't ask the magician how he performs his tricks.
But how can I believe you?
Ugh. I presume you do believe in my selfishness. The initiator of the refugee salvation will be none other than the British envoy, savior and protector of those in need. It's a win situation for me, too. Now, what about the photograph?
You deserve to be punished, but the greater good is what matters here. I won't bargain it for justice for next.
I'm glad that this situation is over.
It will be over when you settle the matter of the refugees.
You have my word, Mr. Holmes.
くっそ、頼むぞ。あ、ここに来たのか。
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
I've brought news, but not all of it will please you.
Fill me in, Mr. Holmes. I won't shoot the messenger.
まずマーキュリーは死ん
Tracked
だ。
down Boniface Mercurio.
I presume he wasn't delighted about the situation.
He was not having a good day on account of his murder. Killed in his own flat by the same person that stole his painting.
Oh, sweet Mercurio, perishing in the pursuit of his art. How apt. I will miss his exceptional sense of humor.
I located the thief, but
み
found
んな
him
死んでる。
rather cold. He was tight-lipped about the painting too.
Huh, he's dead. How very droll, Mr. Holmes. One presumes you were not responsible.
It was an accident at the refugee camp. He impaled himself on his own knife.
Life is nothing if not cruel and capricious. What about the stolen painting? Have you located it?
I found the painting, but I could not retrieve it.
Well then, where is it?
In Bernadotti's office.
Bernadotti? That shady businessman? Why would he steal it from me?
I'm afraid you'll have to ask him yourself.
I take it you found something more then. What happened to your crusade of truth? Was it not that important after all?
No truth will satisfy you, Mr. Vogel.
そうなんですよ。今回迷ったんですよ。
If you've chosen not to tell me, I respect your intention. But it is just rather boring, isn't it?
It is what it is.
Well, now that we've resolved all of our outstanding matters, I have a gift for you. I
何か
took
くれる
the
みたい。
liberty of having it delivered to Stonewood Manor. I am told it belonged to your mother.
何ですか？
And what exactly have you sent me?
Frankly, I'm not sure how to answer that. I trust you'll know.
Previously, you mentioned there may have been more to my mother's passing than consumption. It appears you were right.
Oh dear. I'd hoped to be wrong.
She was unstable, mentally unwell. She required sustained specialized treatment, but her madness persisted.
I knew that Violet had disappeared from the public eye, but had no idea of her suffering. I cannot imagine what you're feeling.
I'm fine.
よし。
Thank you, Mr. Vogel. I am curious to see what you have procured.
OK。これで女神は異邦人が終了と。で、ストーンウッド邸に戻れだよね、多分。そうだね。よし。ではですね、今回ちょっとこの辺にしましょうかね。次回、ストーンウッド邸に戻って、また新たなメインストーリーが出ると思うので、そちらやっていきたいと思います。それでは、ありがとうございました。